Hi, I'm Casey McGraw.
Okay, and we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. It's now time for Monday Morning Quarterback. Every Monday morning around 8:30, we spend about 25 minutes talking about high school football, just doing some recap from Friday night. Love to do that here. And again, RJ, you're at home. I got RJ Casey. RJ is Team FYN Sports sideline reporter for the Pickens Dragons. Are you there, RJ? Okay, we're glad you could get up this morning for us, RJ. Okay, I'm
making a special point to get up for you, Brian.
Okay, well, no, it's the fans. But see, here's what I wanted to make sure you got up for, RJ. And you can't see this at home, but I have 2 Yankee hats on the desk, and I know it's really going to bother you. I probably shouldn't have told you that. And
I'm watching.
Did you watch Tanaka Blast last night? Did you watch that 7 innings, RJ?
No, I'm not watching that.
Oh, whoa! Why?
I'm pulling for the Astros, but
why? I know why you're pulling for the Astros. I know right now because Brian McCann's on the team, right?
no, because of the
Did you watch the Redskins? Did you watch the Red Sox Astros game yesterday afternoon?
I saw a little bit of it. I was flipping through a bunch of stuff and all that. Yeah, Red Sox got their line, but Houston went, and then Cleveland will finish off the Yankees, and it'll be Cleveland and Houston in the ALCS.
Cleveland and Houston, is that what you think? I will tell you this: I will go with Houston over the Red Sox any day. Got Jason Banks. Jason Banks, the director of Team FYN Sports. You with us, Jason?
I'm here.
I'm doing great. I'm calling it Tanaka Blast Monday. I watched that last pitch all the way to the 9th inning, 11:30 last night. I'm sorry, guys. I just had to do it. But what's Monday Morning Quarterback, so let's talk about that. We're talking this morning, RJ. You're on the sidelines of Pickens Dragons. You know, just put the background. You graduated there. You live there. And you know all these kids that come through the program, and you know a lot about them. The Pickens Dragons are really mourning the loss of not just 1 but 2 players this year. First, SHAWN MASK, 15 years old, was killed Friday night on a dirt bike collision with a pickup truck. Tell us a little bit about SHAWN and what you might know about him, and how the community is affected by this tragedy.
I know SHAWN. He came out, played football. I'm not sure if he played his freshman year as well. I know he was big into baseball, and he was big. He played travel baseball, and I remember covering the JV game last year at baseball, and he came in and pitched, and he did pretty good. And it seemed like baseball was his first love, and football was just. I don't want to say like a hobby, but his second love. And from what I've read and what I've seen, he was friendly to everybody. Everybody got along with him, and it's a big loss for here in the community, especially so close to the first one that happened back in March.
Well, let me stay on this just for a minute. I pulled up this morning an article you wrote. This is by RJ Casey. JV Dragons fall in a tough game, the Creekview, that you wrote actually this past March. You wrote this, and you've got down where SHAWN MASK, he pitched 2 innings, struck out 4 in 2 innings, and threw 27 pitches. And yeah, you know, I do know the Dragons football team is mourning a loss this week of SHAWN, but he was a multi-sport athlete, quality kid. It's just really a sad situation of what happened. Tell us a little bit about Jordan Simmons. He was 16. He passed away in a crash in March. Did you know Jordan very well, or do you know much about Jordan?
I never got to meet him personally. I know, I believe he was playing JV, you know, all that stuff. He was defensive line, defensive end, big kid. It looked like from the pictures and stuff, it looked like they had some plans for him. He was going to be in the mix in the future. But yeah, it's just sad. So close together. Jordan in March and SHAWN last Friday. kids are pretty broken up about it. The community is pretty broken up about it. But in times like these is when small town communities like this come together and help each other out.
Let me ask you one more thing about Sean. This happened Friday evening. Did this happen during game time? Did the team find out on the sideline as the game was going on about Sean being killed?
The time of the accident and all that, I do not know. When we found out, or I think Coach Parker was the first to know in the second half, and then after the ball game, he informed the team and everybody the situation, and of course, you could guess what everybody's reaction was.
So Parker, head coach for the Pickens Dragons, Chris Parker, addressed the team after the game when they all huddled up. He addressed the team and told them what had taken place.
Yeah, he told them what all had happened, and Mr. Wallace, the principal, was there as well. He said a few words, and Kyle Rasco, the team's athletic trainer, said a prayer for everybody, and they just stood on the field for longer than what they normally would, and just everybody was huddled around each other, giving each other hugs, and just trying to lift the kids up, and especially the ones that knew him best.
Well, RJ, thank you for that report. We appreciate you being there and giving us that report. You were over on the sideline, Southeast Whitfield. Pickens got a win. They're 2-0 in Quad A Region 6. They're 2-0, right? Gilmer and Southeast Whitfield. Tell us a little bit about that game Friday night. And is Southeast Whitfield a good team, RJ?
Yeah, they're a good team. They're a really good team. I think they got deflated a little bit the previous week playing Heritage. They were coming in with a lot of momentum, and Heritage just stopped that, but they were back home. And we always have, I say we, but Pickens always has a certain issue playing Southeast, at Southeast, since the two teams have come together to start playing. And it was important to get off to a fast start. Southeast got the ball first. They drove all the way down, and CJ Streicher picked it off in the end zone to give the Dragons the ball. Dragons went down, and I guess this past week on the show, Trevon Hawkins, he scored first to make it 7-0, and then Southeast got the ball back. Was on their 30-yard line. Their coach decided to go for it. It was 4th and 1, maybe less than 1. Decided to go for it on their own 30-yard line, and the Dragons defense held and gave the offense a short field to work with, and then Robert Davis capped it off with a 9-yard run. And after one, it was 14-0. Trevon Hawkins got into the end zone for a second time as the second quarter started, and Southeast got their offense going. That one wide receiver that they have, the number 7, Oscar Gonzalez, one of the top wide receivers in 4A, he grabbed a 25-yard pass for a touchdown to make it 21-7, and then they got another touchdown after a 17-yard pass, cut it to a one-score game. But the Dragons were able to get a few breaks on their final drive of the first half, and Streicher got through a hole and made it 28-14 going in the half. Dragons get the ball to start the second half, and they drive down, and Brumby found Alex Snelgrove, sophomore, in the end zone, wide open for a 20-yard touchdown pass. Made it 35-14.
You know, well, before you go any further, RJ, let me ask you. That's some great reporting, but let me ask you right now. You just talked about two sophomores Alex, what's Alex's last name?
Snelgrove.
Now, is he number 9?
Yeah, he's number 9.
Right, Alex is number 9. And you just talked about C.J. Streicher a couple times, and he is a sophomore also, right?
Yes, sir.
So now Streicher is he's turning into a big play kind of player. He's making some big plays. And something else I think we're going to see as the level of competition, the Dragons meet a higher level of competition, that brings Streicher's level of play up. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it does. He's always there when they need something. If it's on offense, if it's on defense, and he's always there, ready to make a big play.
Well, you got a sophomore. You're driving down the field, and you're going to strike at home and get in the end zone, and you're going to put your team in position to play this game. And a guy like Streicher just pulls it out of the air on you on the end zone and deflates your drive immediately and can turn the game around just like that. Big play. What was the end score of that one, RJ?
The final score?
Yeah, what was the final score of that one?
Final score ended up being 49-21 Pickens. 49-21
Pickens. Who does Pickens have Friday night?
They've got Northwest Whitfield at home.
What's your take on that one? Because I tell you what, I'm not knocking Pickens, but I have to tell you right now, Ridgeland, Heritage, and then it gets into Northwest Whitfield and Pickens. I think this Friday night will kindly settle who's in that third spot. I know Pickens hasn't played Heritage or Ridgeland, but that's going to be a tough one Friday night to kindly keep moving Pickens up what I call the respectable rank in that region. What do you say?
Yeah, it's always tough with Northwest Whitfield as well. They always play us tough. They got that running back. I believe he's a junior this year. He's a load to bring down. It'll probably take 2, 3, 4 guys to bring him down at once. But I think Northwest Whitfield is coming in pretty banged up, especially at their quarterback position. So we'll see how that plays out. But it'll obviously be a tough game regardless.
Yes, it will. It'll be at home Friday night, folks, 7:30, and RJ will be on the sideline tweeting out what happens. Give me just a minute, RJ. Let me get Jason in here. Jason, are you with us?
I'm with you.
Let's switch to 3A Region 7. Dawson went up to Union, and for a couple minutes there, and I have to say it like that, Jason, I was with you Friday night. For a couple minutes in that first quarter, it looked like Pickens was going to play. This was going to be a football game worthy of watching, and that thing turned around, did it not?
Yeah, Union started real strong. They looked real good warming up, too. I was pretty impressed with how they were catching the football in warm-ups. And, they packed the stadium out, and they came to play. I mean, I think you would agree with me, though, that as the game went on, it looked like maybe the line started to get tired.
Well, there's a weak side, and I think that there's a weak side on that Union, and you just got to call it. And I think, Jason, if I remember right, that one side of Dawson's offensive line, that number 58, I think, and 78 or 54 and 78. Those are some big boys, man. And when those boys are pushing on you, what I mean. You agree?
I got to agree. I mean, it was very noticeable, from the sidelines, the size difference. And and I also felt like, I said it from the sidelines too, but Union, they put a whole lot on Cole Wright. Like how many, I don't have the stats yet, but I'm curious how many rushing yards he had, because it seemed like every play he got flushed out of the pocket and he was having to run down the field, run toward the sidelines.
Well, and he's not 100%, because I will say this, and I'm gonna say this. We're gonna be up there tonight with Coach Allison, folks. You can tune in FYN TV. Are you gonna tune in tonight to watch Pickens not Pickens. I got my Pickens shirt on. Thinking about the Dragons this morning on my heart. You can watch the Panthers playback with Coach Allison and the players tonight. We're going to be asking him. But, Jason, I think actually it's 3 games, including the GAC game, Greater Atlanta Christian. I think Union is still seeing the paying for the results of their team being banged up from Greater Atlanta Christian. Cole Wright's foot's wrapped up Friday night. You can see that right foot was wrapped up when he came out of the huddle. He walked soft on that. Do you know what I'm saying? Did you watch that too?
Yep. And it seemed like once he got moving, that he could handle the pain. But you could tell after those plays, especially as it got late in the third and early in the fourth, and he'd been out there running around on it and getting banged up even more and more. I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, I think Union now Fannin was off Friday night, and I think the GAC game against Fannin didn't see quite the injuries maybe they got. Obviously, they went home with some. They had to hand out the ibuprofen and get the ice out, and they went home bruised up a little bit, but they didn't seem like to take the injuries quite like Union did from GAC, and then Fannin had the off week. Okay, Friday night. So Fannin comes back. Fannin comes back fresh next week. After a couple tough losses, but Union walked right out of GAC into just 2 more tough games right in a row.
Absolutely, tough schedule.
Yeah, when you got was it East Hall?
Yeah.
When you got GAC, East Hall, and Dawson, which to me, do you think those are the top 3 teams in that Region 7A, 3A, Region 7? Do you think that's the top 3 contenders?
Yeah, I think it'd be tough to argue with that. I mean, now granted, GAC manhandled East Hall this week, 59-0. They were up 38-0 at the half, and their running back, Kyler McMichael, had 7 carries for 167 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he probably didn't even touch the ball in the second half. So, but we expected that. I mean, GAC's way up at the top, and then there's a gap, and then somewhere there is East Hall or Dawson, I would say. But I hate to say it, but after watching Dawson Union and seeing the things that were working well for Union early in that game and the things that seemed to break down as the game went on, I think the Fannin and Dawson game this week is going to be a really good one. Fannin
and Dawson?
Yes.
What did you think about What did you think about that Dawson team? Now you watched GAC play.
Yeah.
You watched them play Fannin. Can Dawson play GAC?
No. No way. No.
Well,
not gonna happen.
We still have 3 minutes to burn, man. I mean,
I got other stuff we can talk about. That's fine. Hey, let's talking back about Dawson too. And that Union was able to score. They lost that game 52-21. They scored early, and then they got in the end zone there in the fourth quarter again. But right now, according to Max Preps, Dawson's quarterback, Coey Watson, that senior that we saw, he had a knee brace on, but he was rolling out all over the place. Probably a little short to throw the ball from the pocket anyway.
Yeah, Doug Flutie. He got Doug Flutie problems.
Doug Flutie, yes. Yeah. He's even got the hair.
Yeah.
He's leading the region in passing yards right now, 952 passing yards. And then Dawson's also got the leading tackler in the region with Nate Umberger. So 64 tackles so far in region play. I would say the reason those two are probably leading on that stat-wise, though, again, is GAC, they like to run the football, and they probably play everybody every game. So
I have said this, and it sounds disrespectful to some of the teams in the region, Jason, but I don't think we have actually been able to see how good GAC really is, because they're not playing, they're not up against a talent level that requires really intense blocking all night long to see how deep they can go with their strength conditioning. They're not up against teams that they have to open the hole for the running back. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, not being disrespectful to the teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see them play someone like Ridgeland or Locust Grove and see how that went. But or even one of those middle Georgia schools like Warner Robins High or Houston County.
Well, obviously everybody wonders how they got picked up and dropped in the center of a North Georgia mountain football region like 7A here. But I want to give a shout out to Nate Umberger. I don't know, I want to embarrass him a little bit. Linda Umberger, I was able to go over and say hello to my good friend Linda Umberger. And if you're out there watching and you follow politics out there in Georgia, almost everybody on the Republican side knows Linda Umberger over in Dawson County. So Nate Umberger, that's not a coincidence. That's Linda's son. A good shout out to Linda, and I was able to say hello to her Friday night. Jason, who does Union have Friday night? But what was the end score? What was the final score of that one? Dawson Union.
52-21.
Go ahead. Who does Union have Friday night?
Union has North Hall on Friday, and North Hall, they beat Lumpkin pretty bad this week. Lumpkin obviously at the bottom of the region right now. They beat them 55-14, and I think Union North Hall will be a good game. We've got to see both of those teams play now. I think it's going to be a really good game.
I've watched North Hall push a defense. I mean, I got RJ. RJ, you on there?
Yes, sir.
You remember North Hall pushed Pickens defense all the way to the end of the game, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
So I watched RJ and I watched on the sideline. North Hall push Pickens to the 4-yard line with 10 seconds to play in the game. So, I mean, that's going to be a good one, Union and North Hall. So they got the kids on that front line that can push and get that running game moving.
Yeah, they run the ball well.
Who does Fannin have Friday night? They have Dawson. Are they at home or are they traveling over to Dawson?
Traveling to Dawson.
Go ahead, sir.
They do not do that great on the road statistically, especially as far as offense goes. But like I said, I think this is going to be a good game.
Anything else in that region or in the 3A area that you'd like to give a shout out before we close, Jason?
No, I think that's it. We're ready to see some more football this week, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Jason Banks. He is the Team FYN Sports Director. On the sidelines, Jason and I went up and watched Union, enjoyed that game. RJ, anything in the 4A? Any players in 4A or Quad A Region 6 that you'd like to give a shout-out before we close?
Just going to stay at home for a little bit. Zach Goss, wide receiver, junior wide receiver for Pickens, one of the top wide receivers in 4A. He's got 11 touchdowns on the season. Tops in 4A. He's probably got over 600 yards now receiving. And there's some big games. There's a big game besides Pickens and Northwest Whitfield on Friday. Heritage is playing Ridgeland. And that's going to determine who will be number one in the region after Friday night.
Folks, it's region football, and it's Friday nights, every Friday night, 7:30 is kickoff. You want to follow Team FYN Sports, find our Facebook page, Team FYN Sports. Also follow us on Twitter at Team FYN Sports. We are giving you highlights all through the game, tweeting out scores, and every Monday morning at 8:30, it's Monday Morning Quarterback, and I want to thank these two great guys for some great reporting. Gilmer was off Friday night, and so was the Fannin Rebels. They were off, but we were up at Union watching Dawson, and so was the Murphy Bulldogs. So a lot of people were off Friday night, but we're back on the field. RJ is correct that That Ridgeland Heritage game, folks, for 4A Region 6. Whoa, that's going to be a good football game. And Pickens and Northwest Whitfield, there's another one stacking up. Fannon's going over to Dawson. That could be a very good game. And also, Jason, Fannon's going to get to see some Union film. And the more film you get on a team like that, you can't. The better off, obviously, you are. So they're going to get to see some Union film on their game. So they're going over to Dawson, and then Union's playing North Hall Friday night. Is Union at home, or are they traveling?
I think it's at North Hall, but I'd have to double check.
Okay, folks, that's it. Guys, thank you very much. Have a nice day. Go out there and find out what the hell's going on so we can tell the people, all right? Don't go back to bed, RJ. I know you're waiting. Hey, folks, Monday Morning Quarterback's been great. You guys have a nice day. We'll be back right after these messages.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names